Welcome everyone. Hi, if you're new here, hello. If you are returning, also hello. And this is the video for Noctowl. So I don't know why that intro was so not organized. If you're new here, I don't script my videos. I just talk. Eventually, I'll get into a flow and I'll be able to start rattling off a bunch of information. So just stay tuned for that. So Noctowl. Obvious thing is the typing. That's something that nobody's gonna have any qualms with. That's something people have been begging for years. It's a very common. I like to put my type changes into three tiers. There's the common standard ROM hack changes that like a lot of older ROM hacks have popularized or normalized or whatever, and things that people have always expected or wanted. And honestly, types that very much should actually be changed, or that the Pokemon should have been that type, like in a real game. Like this is not a reach. Then there's like a second tier where I say the typing works, but it's also it's a ROM hack, so you gotta make some forgiveness. And then there's the third tier where it's like, okay, this is extremely unique and interesting, and it does work, and I have my reasons, but it's a little bit I don't know the word for it. Counter. I don't know. I can't think of a word right now, but it's a little bit out there. Not to say that it's stupid or illogical, but yeah, Noctowl is one of those that's the first tier, very obvious change. I'm not going to dwell on it too much more. It's a very fitting typing, and it should have been that type. So what's important here is the abilities and stats and move pool, and man, Noctowl has it really good. So I always try to make it so that the Pokemon that were really crappy before are like really good. And Noctowl was one of those. Noctowl was pretty shit. So it has a lot of really awesome things to abuse now. So there are other psychic flying types, so I had to make sure that there was no overlap between them. So the other psychic flyings are, if I can check my list, I know I have it somewhere. Come on, here we go. It's Noctowl, Oricorio, Azatu, and Sigilif, and those four will not have any overlap between abilities, and it will have different stats and that kind of thing. Sigilif being the most glass cannon-esque, fastest of them, and also the strongest. But also the least, bulky whenever the abilities aren't as good as Tinted Lens. I do love my Tinted Lens Sigi, but I gotta give it just to Noctowl instead of Sigilif. Sigilif has two different abilities. And then Xatu is similar. We'll get to Xatu eventually, actually pretty soon in Johto, so I won't talk about them. And then Oricorio switches forms, so you just change the typing based on what you need. So that's not really an issue if it's quote unquote outclassed. And it's not even outclassed; it's different from the others. But even if it was, it wouldn't matter because you have four Pokemon in one. So yeah. That being said, we have Noctowl, and they are great. They have two very fitting abilities. Hoot Hoot has an ability. Hoot Hoot. Why did I say it like that? Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot. Hoot. I don't fucking know. I just say Hoot Hoot. That is Bird's Eye View. This is a early game ability. It's just Clear Body. It's nice to have. It's the only thing I'm just giving the early game birds because they don't make sense to have their like fully evolved abilities yet. There might be a fully evolved bird with Bird's Eye View, but they would have to have really good stats because the ability itself isn't that great. It's just a nice, early game. There's a lot of, play nice, that kind of thing. It's nice, tearful look. It's nice to be immune to those. But it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just an ability to have, especially because Tinted Lens isn't amazing all the time in early game because you might not need it. There's not a lot of stuff that resists sucking of flying early game. Not that there isn't going to be anything, but it's just nice to have as an option. With infinite ability capsules, but yeah, Tinted Lens is amazing. And then you become Noctowl, you get Tinted Lens, and you get a new ability called Hubris. And yes, I plagiarized Pokemon Surgeons Sue me. It is Special Moxie. Technically, it works for any Pokemon on the field. I mentioned this in the video for Typhlosion, but the logic of that doesn't really bother me as much as it used to. It used to bug me, but I think it makes sense if anything. Like, they can get, like, they're overconfident or they're cocky or they're full of themselves or they're super intelligent and smart or whatever. So like the fact that they are getting a boost when anything dies kind of works in my opinion. And it's just a nice thing because if they die, for example, if they kill themselves with recoil, for example, say you send in your Noctowl and then a Pokemon explodes in your face, or it dies, it uses Flavorless and it dies to recoil, you will still get that Hubris boost, which is a big deal. That's better than Moxie and proficiency in that way. So it's really awesome. And then in double battles, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous ability in doubles. But double battles aren't super common in the hack, but they are, especially in the post game, there will be a lot of them. Like a lot of the Rainbow Rocket boss battles will be double battles most likely, just for the fun of it and just to make them like extra challenging. But in the main game, there's only a handful. There's a couple like boss battles, like maybe one of the Gizmo fights will be a double battle, a couple other random stuff. But overall, it's not anything like I would run a move specifically for. For example, if I gave Mons like follow me, I would not say it's ever worth keeping that just for one double battle. out of like 20 million trainer battles and a bunch of totem battles and stuff. So yeah. That being said, you have two excellent abilities in Tinted Lens and Hubris, and you have the freedom to swap between them with ability capsules. So I am actually not even going to talk about stats too much because they're pretty simple and straightforward. I think they are very fitting stats. HP loss because of the size differences. I bet HP based much more on size, and so Noctowl. I mean, it's a big owl. It's like 5 foot, wingspan or 5 foot tall. It's a pretty large owl, but it's not huge or anything. So 72 HP, much better physical defense, much better special attack speed and special defense. So it has 106 in both its special stats and a good 96 speed tier, which is great with speed boosting moves and choice scarf and all this other stuff. Especially because you have Tinted Lens, so you don't have to worry about coverage moves as much if you want to run that, or you can worry about your coverage moves and you can teach them via TM, and then you can just run Hubris and hit things super effective and get that stat boost. It's really, really fucking strong. I'm really excited to talk about the actual nitty gritty of it. So here's what I'll mention first. Late level up at level 65, you get access to Lunar Dance and Stored Power. Both of those are godly with Tinted Lens and Hubris. Tinted Lens is such an underrated ability, one of my favorite abilities at that, and it is extremely powerful with Stored Power. Because you don't need to run coverage. You can just run Stored Power and then a move to hit dark types. Any move that hits dark types. Not even super effectively, just any move, really. And then you're good. And then you can run a bunch of it. You can run Mesmerize and you can run Lunar Dance. For example, you can run a Tinted Lens set with Lunar Dance, Mesmerize, Stored Power, and then any other third or any other fourth move that will hit a dark type. If you even need to, for example, if there's no dark type on the team, then you don't run dark type moves, and you can run Roost, for example. You can run Roost on that trainer battle if there's no dark types on their team. You can run Lunar Dance, Stored Power, Roost, and Lunar Dance, Stored Power, Roost, and Mesmerize. So Stored Power, if you guys, well, actually, I have to talk about 3 moves here. Mesmerize is a 100% accurate sleep move. I'll get more into that in a second. They also have Hypnosis at level 47, which is 80% accuracy. And also Dream Eater is great with Tinted Lens. Dream Eater is 120 base power, but it heals all of the HP, meaning all of the damage you deal, you heal completely. So that's really, really powerful. And that's great with Tinted Lens, so you don't have to worry about the type effectiveness. You could just get that HP back. What was I saying? Lunar Dance. So Lunar Dance has been modified to be Quiver Dance, essentially. Lunar Dance is Quiver Dance. Quiver Dance no longer boosts special defense. Quiver Dance only boosts speed, and it's essentially Special Dragon Dance now. That's for balancing purposes because a lot of really powerful bug types get access to Quiver Dance, and it would just be, and a lot of non-bug types get access to Quiver Dance, and it would be kind of ridiculous if it gave special defense as well. So it's still a great move, and Mons actually learned it a little bit earlier than they would if otherwise. And then to compensate, I guess you could say, I created Lunar Dance, which has much less distribution, hence the better effect. And also because you're kind of drawing power from the moon, the animation literally just shows the moon, then they do a little dance. So instead of killing yourself and healing the opponent like Cresselia did, it's now essentially old Quiver Dance. So that's amazing. That is excellent with Noctowl. So you get 3 boosts. So with Tinted Lens sets, with a single Lunar Dance use, you will get +1 speed, +1 special defense, +1 special attack, and that's 3 stat boost, and that makes your Stored Power immediately 80 base power. And a buff I made to Stored Power is that it boosts your special attack by 1 after use. You might be thinking in your head, holy shit, that's insane. It is insane. Hence why I made the move 3 PP. So you can't instantly just 6-0 every single fucking trainer battle. Because, dude, if there was no PP limitation on that, you could literally just sweep every single trainer battle with Stored Power, Tinted Lens, Noctowl. As long as you get 1 Lunar Dance, you're good to go. You can sweep everything. A little bit of a roost, and obviously there's always going to be exceptions. There'll always be faster things or priority or really strong Pokemon that'll just kill you to the boost, whatever it is. But end of the day, the vast majority of trainer battles would be made free. So of course I had to nerf that by making it 3 PP, but again, the boost is amazing. So you can take out half their team. And by the time you take out half the team, say you get 1 Lunar Dance off, and then because here's the important part. Mesmerize, all right? Mesmerize and Hypnosis, all sleep moves, besides a couple of signature moves and yawn type moves that make you drowsy, and then a couple of signature moves. Every other sleep move in the game lasts guaranteed 2 turns. That's to remove luck and hacks, so you know exactly how long the sleep is going to last, so you can really account for those turns. So 2 turns is a lot. However, Noctowl was relatively quick. Not super quick. If you look at the speed tier guide here, you can see how it stacks up with other Pokemon, although it has ways to boost its speed with Agility, Lunar Dance, and Choice Scarf. But as you can see here, 96 base speed is pretty solid. It outspeeds a lot of stuff, but it's also outsped by a lot of things, so, you gotta make do with what you got. Excuse me. I feel like 96 fits pretty well, given that it's an owl, and owls, they're birds of prey. They can fly pretty quickly, but I didn't feel like over 100 would fit, so I ended up going with a nice 96 speed tier. That being said, since if you're faster than whatever you click Hypnosis or Mesmerize on, you only get 1 turn of sleep to set up with, which is plenty. 1 turn of sleep is a nasty plot. 1 turn of sleep is a Luna Dance. 1 turn of sleep is a Calm Mind if you're using Hypnosis earlier in the game, you know, in the Ula Ula Island, then you can use Calm Mind, and that's so free, dude. You get a free setup turn. You don't have to worry about them waking up on turn 1. You don't have to worry about getting shit luck. It's none of that, and this is also a benefit for the player. This isn't just like sorry, what am I trying to say? This isn't just beneficial for sweeping and setting up and utility. This is also beneficial for when Pokemon sleep you. You don't have to sit there and worry about, oh, fuck, I need to wake up. Please wake up. You know exactly when you're going to wake up. You know exactly how long that sleep timer will last. So if you're faster than the opponent, you only get 1 turn to set up, which is still plenty. If you're slower than the opponent, however, meaning if you take a hit first, or if you, let's say they use Taunt on you and you're running Z Hypnosis, which is amazing, by the way. Z Hypnosis is really powerful because it will give you +2 speed, and it will, I should probably change that. It might be kind of overpowered, I'm not gonna lie. I should probably change that. +2 speed, and that's what it used to be actually in the real games, +1 speed rather. But I might change it to Speed F just because it's like really, really strong. And a lot of stuff gets Hypnosis because it's 80% accurate as well. So all sleep moves are much more consistent as well, being 80 to 85% accurate, and then there's Spore and Mesmerize, which are 100% accurate, and then there's a couple of signature moves as well, like Pendulum Swing, which is Hypno's move, and a couple others, Dark Void for Darkrai, etc. What was I trying to say? You have Hypnosis. Z Hypnosis will bypass Taunt and will give you +2 speed. Then you have, so say for example, you take a hit first, they use Taunt. You will then get 2 turns to set up. You can click Lunar Dance twice. Now you're +4 speed, +2 special attack, +2 speed F. It's really, really strong. I may change Hypnosis to be +2 speed F. I like Sing and Grass Whistle being that because they're lesser distributed. But I feel like Hypnosis is such common distribution that it's kind of overpowered at the +2 speed. But let me know what you think in the comments. Honestly, let me know what you think. I'm worried about it because it bypasses Taunt. If it didn't ignore Taunt, then I wouldn't be worried because a lot of trainer battles have Taunt to prevent setup. So you would have to use stuff like, for example, Whirlwind. Say you want to set up, right? You want that Tinted Lens or Hubris Sweep. That's another thing I didn't mention. You can use Stored Power with Tinted Lens, or you can use Hubris with Tinted Lens. I misspoke. You can use Hubris with Stored Power, and you get that +1 special attack each time you kill something or each time something dies, and it just becomes insane. I mean, you're getting so many boosts, and you got the Calm Mind or Nasty Blood as well by a TM. So Lunar Dance, Hubris, Stored Power, Mesmerize is chef's kiss. Perfect. It's great. You can just snowball out of control. That keeps Noctowl viable from the beginning to the end. It has a good speed tier. It has solid bulk. It's pretty strong, especially if you run it. You can also just run choice specs. Like you can just click Choice Specs Hurricanes or Choice Specs Aeroblast, Choice Specs Psyshock. Psyshock is 95 base power, no drawbacks, hits physically, hits on the physical defense side. And then you have Aeroblast, which is 65 base power, but it always crits, so it's 98 base power essentially, and there's no accuracy or nothing. The only downside is 5 PP. Bro, just run Tinted Lens on that and just click buttons. You know, you can totally do that too. You don't have to set up. You can just do a lot of damage with Choice Specs Tinted Lens. That's one of the best things about Tinted Lenses, especially with trainers. Trainers love having Tinted Lens because a big way that you can exploit the AI in Pokemon is just by switching around and, you know, baiting certain moves. Oh crap, they're always going to go for super effective hits. So say you have your Noctowl out and there is a Furret with Ice Punch in front of you, and it has Ice Punch and Whiplash and then whatever, 2 other fucking moves, doesn't matter. You would just swap into your Ice type resist or whatever, you know, and you can exploit the AI that way is my point. But Tinted Lens doesn't give a fuck about that. Tinted Lens says, fuck you, I'm doing a lot of damage anyways. The only way you can resist a Tinted Lens attack is if you're 4 times resistant to that type, which, to be fair, there is a decent amount of 4 times resist to Psychic and Flying. And there is, of course, stuff like, what was I trying to say? There is immunity to Psychic, but if they're using Flying moves, there's no immunity to Flying. So you're just going to have to use that 4 times resist. And that's another benefit of having Mons that people typically find as bad typing. So, for example, Ice that resists Flying. And then there's like Rock, Steel types, that kind of thing. People think those typings suck. Well, now you got a 4 times resist to Flying, which means that a lot of Tinted Lens Pokemon, which there are going to be more Tinted Lens Flying types. There already are a bunch. You know, it's nice to be able to resist it, is my point. So that's the only way you can resist Tinted Lens as the player. And there will be stronger Tinted Lens users. Noctowl is far from the strongest. Butterfree's up there, and then there's even more powerful ones. There's some really crazy ones. Yeah, that's about it for the abilities. Hubris is obviously amazing. That works great with Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Lunar Dance, Mesmerize, Hypnosis, whatever you need to run. You also have access to, as I was saying, Whirlwind. So Whirlwind, what you can do to bypass Taunt is you can use Whirlwind, which has 1 PP, and it has +4 priority. So you can click that and swap that lead taunt anti-setup mon out. Say, get the fuck out of my face, dude. Let me click my buttons, please. And then they'll be out of the battle, and then you'll be able to set up on something else. Ideally, obviously, it's random what it switches out into, so you could get fucked over and they could go into something stronger that you can't set up against because it just hits you too hard, for example. But that's part of the gamble. You got to use it when you know what you're swapping into is a better mashup than whatever you're clicking it on. You can also use Whirlwind as just like a stopgap, like a, oh shit, this mon is sweeping me. It's getting out of control. It has so many boost up. It's power tripping me to death. Whirlwind, boom, no more stat boosts. That kind of thing is also really useful to have. It's 1 PP, that one-time use. So yeah. The Z effect also will give you +3 speed, so you can use that really nicely. You can use like a bulky set with Whirlwind, like plus, like you can run, for example, max HP, max special attack, Z Whirlwind plus Nasty Plot or something, or Calm Mind, and then you can use that with stored power, and then you'll have a really powerful stored power, whatever it is. Honestly, I don't know. I had this at first. I had it at 65 and 70. 70 being like Hapu, Gladion, and then the League, or the Elite, sorry, the Victor Road before the League. League is at level 100, but that's just so you don't overlevel. So you don't, for example, if the League was actually only level 75, for example, then you would just use one Pokemon and you would end up being like slightly overleveled for the champion. It just makes the level curve awkward. Better just to have level 100 so you have the consistency. Again, there are now training candies to train your Pokemon in game, but this is not relevant for Noctowl. I will talk about that kind of stuff when I get to like trainer battles and rebalancing, all that stuff. But yeah, I think I'll keep it at 62 and 65. It's fine. It's cool. It's Noctowl, man. If it's a little overpowered, it's fucking Noctowl. Like, that's fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a big deal. It's fun to use. All right. So that's awesome. You have a lot of great coverage, a lot of great utility. So like Feather Ball lowers attack by 1 at 70 base power. Disarming Voice and Dismal Cry has a good coverage, and that's 60 base power, and those lower. I believe Disarming Voice is attack and Dismal Cry is special attack. Let me triple check. Yes, Disarming Voice is physical, Dismal Cry is special. So that's awesome. Just probably like, no, this is fine. You have Leer, which is -2 defense, which is nice for like totems. For example, in Akala Island, there's a lot of totem Pokemon. You can use those to like debuff the totem and then send in something else. You can use Leer, and then you can parting shot out of there, and you know, whatever you need to do. And the great thing about Noctowl is you don't need to run that many moves. Offensive moves, like you don't even need Psychic Stab technically. And again, you always have the TM, so you have Psychic as a TM eventually. You know, pretty early on. You have all these TMs, so you can just swap your move pool, and you can only run like 1 Flying Stab as your main stab for Tinted Lens sets, and then you can run like 3 utility moves, and then you can swap those utility moves via TM or level up, whatever it is. As you level up, you can switch the moves out. So yeah, you get a lot of awesome stuff there. You got dual screens, which is nice to have. You again, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind. You have Hurricane, Focus Blast, Aura Sphere, Energy Ball. Nature Power becomes Thunderbolt or Air. That's really it. That's relevant because everything else, you already have Energy Ball, you already have Blast, and you already have Psychic. But you can get Thunderbolt from Nature Power and Electric Terrain. It's not boosted by Terrain because you're a Flying type, but it's still nice to have that coverage if you want it under Electric. It's just nice to have that option, right? And it also can turn into other types, like if you're on a water field, you can use Hydro Pump, whatever the fuck, but that's very niche. It's there, though. It's definitely something to consider. It's why it's a TM, because you can reteach it. If that was a level up move, I'd be like, all right, that's never fucking worth keeping. But it's a TM, so you can just switch it whenever you need it. Same thing with stuff like First Impression, all this other stuff, which obviously Noctowl doesn't get, but it's just food for thought. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really much else to talk about. I mean, it's just got a lot of good coverage moves now. It was kind of lacking in that department before as well. A lot stronger, a lot faster, it's really awesome move pool. Stored power is excellent on it. Lunar Dance is insane. Mesmerize is insane. Hypnosis is great. setup is great. Tinted Lens and Hubris are amazing abilities, and I really love how they interact with one another. Meaning, like, you can really run either one whenever you want. And the move sets for those abilities don't really clash too much. For example, with other Pokemon, you might be like, oh shit, one of my abilities is this, the other ability is this, and my move sets kind of clash, and I only have there's no movie linear, so I can only use DMs and stuff. It might become, you know, kind of a choice paralysis type situation. In this case, you don't even have to change your move set. You can just change the ability if you're lazy, you know. Just changing the ability is enough in a lot of cases with this Pokemon. So yeah, Noctowl's super awesome. Super happy with how they turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you liked this kind of thing and this seems interesting to you and you want to see more from me, join my Discord server, subscribe. That would help a lot too. If you watched this far, definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But you probably have. If you're probably subscribed if you listen this far. If you're not, then what are you doing? Sub up, join that server. You know, you can talk to me in there. You can talk to other people in there. You can get live updates on my progress in there. Yeah, and I'll be back. I'm actually going to be recording the Kanto regional birds. So Pidgeot and Fearow I will be recording after this because I did not record videos for everything before Cloyster, and so I'm trying to catch up on those, and so I'm staggering them. So as I do the no Johto Pokemon, I'm going to be recording the older Pokemon. So yeah, stay tuned for those, and thanks for everybody.